Part 6, Blender anime character modeling tutorial for beginners, the super beginners. Okay, last time we left off building the inside of the mouth. We'll bring that right back up with, let's select all of our vertices, Alt select, selects all of them. Let's bring this down a little bit, scale on the Y. Scale the Y a little bit like that. Looks good to me. Bring around, you know, kick it in the wireframe mode. And that looks, bring it down a little bit more. There we go, just like that. Then let's extrude. Okay, and then pull this extrusion along the Y-axis. Okay, we'll create some more geometry. All right, and then let's flip into solid. See the inside of our mouth. Nice. Okay, let's even this out. Right, see how it's curved? We want to eliminate that curve, so let's scale this along the Y-axis at 0. Okay, oh, you might not have been able to see that because this was up. What I hit was scale along the Y-axis at 0. Okay, and then let's add some faces to this geometry. Okay, let's go. We're going to. Do we want that done? Yeah, that's okay. Okay, so we select these 4 vertices. 1, shift select, 2, 3, 4, and we hit the F key to fill in that face. And then remember, this one fills in as well because we have the mirror modifier on, so it just mirrors everything we're doing. And then we're gonna do the exact same thing to this one. Okay, so if you just click here and here, hit F, it just fills it in automatically. Control Z, you can also have the edge selected and hit F, and it fills that in. Either one. Okay, Blender's just kind of intuitive in that way. It just kind of knows what we're doing, or at the very least what we're trying to do, right? Okay, so we got the mouth. Okay, so we got the mouth filled in. Okay, now let's add some shape to this mouth. We're going to do that with a loop cut. Okay, so in here, do you remember the shortcut for Loopcut? Who can tell me the shortcut for Loopcut? Do you remember? Think about adaptive recall, right? We learn something, we forget it, we learn it again, we forget it again, we learn it again, we forget it again, and then eventually it kicks in a long-term memory. Loopcut is over here, right? And you can hit Control R, and there's our Loopcut, right? Just like that. Click to lock it in, and then we can either hit escape, or if you want to move it up or down, you can obviously move it up or down. Just drag with your mouse. Pretty cool. Okay, so let's select these top 2 vertices right here, go into side view, and just bring these to the front of the face. You know, where top lips should be. And then let's do the same thing with the bottom down here. I'm going to take these bottom vertices, click back 3, takes us into side view, and then we're going to build out the lips. Okay, just like that. This is how you build out lips. Let's go here, bring this down a little bit, like so. Bring this one back a little bit, as you do. And we're building out some lips. Okay. Let's get another one going. Control R. Okay, so this is pretty cool. Remember, so we want a horizontal loop cut, but it gave us a vertical loop cut. That's fine. Just move your mouse a little bit, and it just kicks you right into the loop cut that we want. So if you move your mouse again, it gives you a different loop cut, or this one. All I'm doing is moving my mouse a tiny little bit to get the difference between these two. And you should play around with that. It's totally fine. And then we want this one. I'm gonna hit click, And then if I move my mouse, it moves. See, I don't really want it to move like that. Like that. Okay. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to take these two. Oh, Control Z. Okay. If at any time you do something that you don't want or you wish you didn't have, just Control Z, get out of it. So we're going to Shift Select. Now we have these two selected. Click numpad 3. Takes us in a side view, and then just bring this down to create the top lip. And then we're going to do the exact same thing down here to create, you know, kind of a fullness in that bottom lip, which is here. Not that. Maybe this out a little bit more. And let me kick in the wireframe. You see this a little better, like up here. It's a little out there, so let's hit G and bring it up to kind of match where the lip is. And then I think we can do a better job here as well. Bring this down here. Bring this one in here. And then this one. These two should be out here a little bit. Okay. Let's flip it over in a solid view. We hit 1, and so lip is starting to form. Okay, and that, it's a pretty good mask, you know? Like this is essentially a mask. We got geometry in the back, like minimal geometry. This is, we could have used way more vertices than we ended up using. We only used a few, which is great. Okay, and that finishes the bottom portion, more or less. How are we doing down here? Yeah, we're gonna need to fill that neck out a little bit. So for now, let's build out the top of the head. Okay, so let's Alt select up here, to select that top row, numpad 3 to kick in the side view, extrude, and we're going right up, right? Get about there, hit numpad 1, go to front view, and then let's scale along the x-axis, bring that in a little bit like that. Hang on a second. Yeah, it's okay. Bring that in a little bit like that, and then that one in like that. Okay. Build out the shape of that forehead a little bit. Let's kick back into side view. And let's bring this one straight back like that. And let's select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we're just going to extrude straight back, build the side of the head. Let's build the side of the head. Okay, and this one's kind of wild. We're going to eyeball this, and then we're just going to build out the form. Okay, so hit numpad 7, takes us into top view, and kind of center your, actually don't center, bring your model towards the bottom of your screen with shift middle click, drags it, And then we're going to extrude out. And we'll go about here. You know, between 4 or 5 grid spaces. So you can kind of count them out. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Call that. Say between 4 and 5. Okay, right there. Great. And we're going to lock in that extrusion. Let's extrude again. Except this time we're going in a little bit. So we're going to extrude in. And let's do the same thing. 4, say 5 like that. But then bring it in a little bit. See how we're building out the curvature of the head. And now we're kind of going to go even more. We're building out the, this is the roundness of the back of the head, and one more extrusion. If you have clipping turned on, everything will just meet in the center like that. And lock it in. So there is a super primitive, basic shape of the back of the head. Now you can see that this kind of, looks like a box, right? Someone in a trauma ward who's just kind of has a bandaged dome. We need to go in and clean this up, so that's what we're gonna do right now. Okay, so let's kick into side view with numpad 3 and line up the back of the head. Easiest thing to do probably be in wireframe mode. Let's go like this and then move this in like that. So let's start building out the back of the head like so. We'll do that. Oh, actually, let's get all of these aligned. Like so. Okay. And then you know what? We can actually use proportional editing down here. Because I don't know that we've used that yet. So if you select these bottom 3 vertices and then hit proportional editing, it edits everything that is attached to these vertices proportional to the diameter of this circle. So pretty big diameter, and we control the diameter of the circle with the middle mouse. So I'm going to move this a little to the left, and as I move it, I'm going to make the mouse button smaller. And do you see how what it's affecting gets smaller and smaller relative and in proportion to the location of the circle, which is pretty cool. So you turn this off and then bring that about, you know what, I think I might need to raise these 3 up a little bit. Yeah, that's good right there. Okay, next we want to kind of clear out geometry for this ear. Right now we have geometry interfering with the ear. So let's select this edge, loop with Alt Select, and bring it over and kind of clear out the geometry. So now we have a clean space topology to build the ear. And how about we break this? How about we add that like 11? Okay, now let's see how this looks from the aerial with numpad 7. Not bad. These need to be rotated out a little bit, so make sure we got the vertices selected. Let's rotate like that. And then we're going to do the same thing with these vertices. We're going to rotate these guys. Let's pull these out a little bit and back a little bit. And let's get these guys back as well. Oh, no, let me see. Yeah, we can't do that. Pull this down a little bit. Okay, try and create that smooth line. Okay, I think we got a fire truck in the background, fire truck in the distance, emergency in the background. Control S saves our work just in case. You know what? I'm okay. Let's hit this one. Let's move this back a little bit, like that. Right? Anime heads are just a little bit bigger. Do that like that. Yeah. Okay. Control S saves the work. Okay. That looks good. Now let's build out the neck, and we're going to do that with another mesh. Okay. So this is the cue here. You know what? Let's label this. We're going to call this head mesh, and we're in object mode. I tabbed into object mode, and then in object mode, I'm going to Shift A. I'm going to add another mesh. I'm going to add a circle. Okay? You can see the circles right here, and the circles right here, and the circles also right here. Now, they gave me 32 vertices. I don't want 32 vertices, okay? I only need 8. I want this radius to be 1, and I want this right here. Okay, so you can see that my mesh right here, which is now called a circle, I'm going to call this neck. My neck is already at the world origin because my cursor is at the world origin. If yours is not, for some reason, you need to hit Shift S and then cursor to world origin, okay? And that brings it right there. And then you can add a mesh, and your mesh will always add wherever the cursor is. So if it's not for some reason, then you can select the mesh and then do the exact same thing. Shift S and then object to world origin or object to cursor. Well, it's not object, it'll say selection. And you can do selection to cursor because your cursor is at world origin, so your selection would go to world origin. Okay? And now we have this here. So let's go to front view with numpad 1. We're going to scale this. Well, let's lift it up a little bit. But to this red line, we're going to scale it in until we're about neck size. Great. Can bring that down a little bit. Scale it out a little bit. And let's kick into side view, and that is nowhere near where it needs to be. So let's bring it back. We're going to grab it, move it along the y-axis a little bit. And you can see how this is flat, flush against the y-axis, but there's a little slant. See just the natural slant of the head right here? Just natural angle. So we're going to rotate this a tiny little bit just to kind of match that angle. And that makes our geometry a little bit easier when we start to extrude. All right, scale that out a little bit more. Okay, scale that in a little bit. Let me see. Okay, so scale like that, but then in numpad, if it's a little too far, then we can scale in from the x-axis like that. Okay, cool. Now, again, we only want to work with half of this. Remember, up here, we got the mesh modifier on the face. We want to do the exact same thing. We want the mesh modifier on the neck. So I'm going to kick into edit mode, like so. I'm going to delete half of the neck. I'm just going to select these vertices, delete vertices, and then in object mode, add a modifier, mirror modifier. Hey, look at that, just like that. So now we only have to mess with one side, and it automatically builds the other side, which is awesome. Tap back into edit mode, and we're ready to build out the neck. So let's alt select and then extrude up along the z-axis. Okay, till you hit about the lip, and then that looks kind of messy. So let's jump into side view and realize that none of it's touching anything at all. We got to move this in a little bit. So we bring that neck in. And we're bringing it in a little more. Like that. Rotate it like that. Maybe bring it down a little bit. Like that. And then scale. Okay, so we have the neck here. We really want to make sure that in side view, we want to make sure that clipping is turned on. And we're going to scale like so. I'll bring that down a little bit, like so. And then we're going to extrude up again. Extrude. And scale like so. Okay. Now, these are two different objects. They don't need to be. This is more just as a learning exercise. When you have two different objects and now we need to bridge them, you can join them. We want to join two objects if you want to bridge them together. So we have one selected, we shift select the other one, and we hit Control J. Boop. And now that right down here, Control J, that joins them into a single mesh that can now be edited as one and the same mesh. Okay. So let's bridge these. We'll select 1, 2. We're going to bridge the head and the neck. 3, 4, 5, 6 vertices. Okay, we have those 6 vertices selected. Let's find item. Where are we at? Loop tools. Here we go. Bridge. We want to bridge. Bada bing. There we go. They're bridged. See? So if you select loop tools, bridge, it just bridges them right there for you. If you want to assign the bridge tool as a shortcut, we right click, add to quick favorites, like that. And now quick favorites, if we hit Q, the bridge is there. So now all we got to do is hit Q and we can just select bridge. Okay? Q quick favorite, bridge. Well, this one ran long. In the next one, we will, we'll finish filling out the face and go from there. Okay, so get up and get some water and an iced coffee, and I'll see you in the next one.